What's happening, everyone? My name is Alex and welcome back. For this camera comparison we have the brand new DJI OSMO Action 4 and of course the highly popular GoPro 11. So we're going to be splitting this video into three sections. The first section has to do the video stabilization, so I'm going to do some walking, some running, some biking, so we can figure out which camera has better video stabilization. The second section has to do the internal microphones. We'll see which camera has the better internal microphone, and the last section has to do the video quality. So I'm going to show you different resolutions in different settings so you can figure out which camera has better video basically. I'm also starting with both cameras at 100% battery, so I'm gonna let you know how much battery I have at the end of this test. So the last video of this recording, I'll tell you how much battery each camera has. With that being said, let's begin by checking out a sample video so you can see which camera has better video stabilization. Alright, and we are starting with the walking and running test between the Action 4 and of course the GoPro 11. I am recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. I have the video stabilization set to maximum on both cameras. I have the field of view set to ultra wide and super view on the GoPro. So we're doing a bit of walking. I'm also trying to keep the cameras as steady as possible. I'm gonna start running in just a second. So we're gonna start running to the right, to the left, right again. We'll go this way, we go around, we'll go this way, and we'll walk once again. So what do you guys think? Which one does better for that particular test? Okay, and we're moving on to our next test for video stabilization. For this test we are going to be riding a bike. I have both cameras mounted on my chest. We are doing 4K at 60 frames per second, hyper view on the GoPro and ultra wide on the DJI camera, and the maximum level of video stabilization available for both cameras. So let's go this way. We'll turn left, right, left, right around here, we'll go this way, and turn right again and left again. So what do you think, which camera does better under these conditions? So basically riding a bike. And I was super curious to see how 4K at 120 frames per second would do. So I have the field of view set to wide for both cameras, and once again the video stabilization set to the maximum level available on both cameras. So I'm walking slowly. I'm also trying to keep the cameras as steady as I can. And I think we're gonna run to the left here for a bit. Let's see how that works. And we'll stop somewhere around here and we'll turn around. So 4K at 120 frames per second. And I also wanted to do the exact same test recording in 4K at 60 frames per second and with a field of view set to wide for both cameras, and of course the level of video stabilization set to maximum on both cameras. So we're gonna be starting running soon, just nice and steady basically. I'm gonna turn around and we'll run this way and we'll walk nice and slow. I'm also gonna stop here. We'll keep the camera steady. We're gonna pan right slowly and back left. It is super hot out today. We have 40 degrees, so I feel like I'm melting already. So what do you guys think? Which camera does better for video stabilization? Which one does better for walking? Which one does better for running? And of course, biking? Definitely leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Alright, next we are gonna move on and check out some sample recordings so we can figure out which camera has a better internal microphone. I'm also gonna show you a recording outdoors and one indoors, just so you can see how both cameras do under those conditions. So let's check those out. Alright, we have a quick microphone test between the Action 4 and of course the GoPro 11. For this recording I'm doing 4K at 30 frames per second and I have the field of view set to wide for both cameras. Now it is a bit windy out, but not bad, so I do not have the wind reduction enabled for this particular recording, just in case you're wondering, and my phone is ringing, so I'll have to pick that up. So this is how the microphones would capture sound under these conditions. Alright, and we have a quick microphone test in a very windy place. So I am right here by the sea, so it is quite windy here, and I have the noise reduction enabled on both cameras, so on the Action 4 and of course the GoPro 11. I'm currently doing 4K at 30 frames per second with both cameras, and the field of view is set to wide. So this is how both cameras would capture sound on a pretty windy day, I'm gonna say. Alright, and next we are moving on to a quick microphone test indoors between the GoPro 11 and of course the DJI OSMO Action 4. For this recording we are doing 4K at 30 frames per second with both cameras, and we have the field of view set to wide for both cameras. It is pretty quiet in here, you may hear the AC, but other than that it should be pretty quiet and you should only be able to hear my voice. So this is how the internal microphone in these cameras would capture sound under these conditions. So what do you think? Which camera has a better internal microphone? Definitely leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. So next we're gonna move on and check out different recordings at different resolutions and of course in different settings, just so you can see which camera has better video quality basically. I've also included some nighttime recordings towards the end of this video. So let's check all of those out and I will be right back. Okay, so 4K at 30 frames per second, horizon lock. We are at the beach. Alexandra's gonna go chasing this rock. So I'm gonna throw it that way, yeah? Okay. Looks like she found it. Let's do it again the other way. Okay, ready? Okay, go. Found it again. Moving on to another 4K 30 frames per second video. Both cameras we have the field of view set to wide and the maximum level of video stabilization. So let's see how the cameras do in this combination of sunshine and shade. We are moving on to our next recording. For this we are doing 4K at 60 frames per second. I have the video stabilization set to rock steady on the DJI camera and the maximum level of video stabilization on the GoPro. Now we have hyper view set on the GoPro as the field of view and ultra wide set on the DJI camera, just in case you are wondering. We're gonna stop here, we're gonna pan left and up, and we'll keep going this way, I guess. So 4K at 60 frames per second on a super sunny day. Alright, and next we are moving on to a 1080p at 60 frames per second recording between the Action 4 and of course the GoPro 11. Now it is quite windy out here, so I do have the wind reduction enabled for this particular recording. It is also a super sunny day, as you can see for yourself. So I'm gonna pan the camera this way and we're gonna walk this way for a bit. So this is how recording in 1080p at 60 frames per second between these two Action cameras would look like. Our next recording is done in 4K at 60 frames per second. I have the video stabilization set to rock steady and of course boost on the GoPro 11 and the field of view set to ultra wide and hyper view on the GoPro 11. Okay, and we are moving on to our next test. For this we are doing 4K at 30 frames per second. I have the level of video stabilization set to rock steady and boost, and the field of view we have wide on the DJI camera and super view on the GoPro 11. So I just wanted to show you how the cameras would do if you're in a very shady place. But now we're gonna turn towards the sun basically. So I'm just gonna walk this way towards the bicycle. So which one does look better in your opinion? Let's turn around again towards the shady place. So yeah, they kind of look the same on the screens here. We'll have to see how this looks on the computer. Another thing to keep in mind is the fact that the maximum recording resolution for the GoPro 11 is 5.3K, but the maximum recording resolution for the DJI Osmo Action 4 is 4K. So this recording is done in 5.3K at 30 frames per second on the GoPro and 4K at 30 frames per second on the DJI Osmo Action 4. Just in case you're wondering what the maximum recording resolution for these two cameras would be. It's also quite windy out, so you're probably gonna hear a lot of wind aside from my voice. Alright, and this is gonna be one of our last daytime recordings. So for this recording I'm doing 4K at 30 frames per second. I have the field of view set to ultra wide on the Action 4 and super view on the GoPro 11. Now battery life, I have 38% on the GoPro 11 and 48% on the DJI Osmo Action 4, so about 10% more on the Action 4 when compared to the GoPro 11, just in case you're wondering. And I'll tell you the end result for the battery later on tonight when we film the last nighttime recordings. So 4K 30 frames per second on a super sunny day. Alright, and we're moving on to our next test. So now it's just before sunset, so obviously it's not as bright out. I wanted to show you how both cameras would perform under these conditions. So we're currently doing 4K at 30 frames per second. We have the field of view set to wide for both cameras, and the video stabilization is set to rock steady, and of course boost for the GoPro 11. So this is how recording would look like well, just before sunset basically. Alright, and we're moving on to a quick recording in low light between the Action 4 and of course the GoPro 11. For this recording I'm doing 4K at 30 frames per second. I have the field of view set to wide, the video stabilization set to rock steady on the Action 4, and of course boost on the GoPro 11. Now it's not totally dark out, but I wanted to show you how the cameras perform under these conditions, so just before it gets dark. We have a few more street lights around here, and I did do the same test last year with the Action 3, and the Action 3 was much better than the GoPro 11, so I'm expecting that this is gonna be the case this time around as well. So we're gonna stop somewhere around here. Oh, we can see the moon there as well. So yeah, 4K at 30 frames per second with the Action 4 and the GoPro 11. We'll wait another 20 minutes or so and we'll do another quick test. Alright, so this is gonna be our last sample video for this particular video. So in case you're wondering, the GoPro 11 currently has 25% battery and the Action 4 has 36% battery, so about 11% more on the Action 4. I'm currently recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. I have the field of view set to wide, and of course the video stabilization set to rock steady and boost on the GoPro 11. And from what I'm seeing on the screens here, the Action 4 does way better than the GoPro 11. But again, we'll have to see how this footage actually looks on the computer. So yeah, what do you guys think about the nighttime capabilities of these two Action cameras?
So there you have it. This is how the DJI Osmo Action 4 performs when compared to the GoPro 11. So what do you guys think? Is it worth picking up a DJI Osmo Action 4, or are you better off with the GoPro 11? Definitely leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.